welcome. We're live from Xi'an, China for the World Cyber Games 2019.
No, nice. They're all on the cliff! Onto the cliff! In the meanwhile, we've got Drace hiding in the back. He's going to be able to pick up the double kill.
Lich in trouble, he comes to Storm, what no Colin will use defensively, tries to save the no!
Oh no, they're not going to be able to do it!
Look at that! He's going to end the game on the core here. We see on the core, and that's going to be game!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to WCG 2019 Xi'an. This is the Hearthstone Grand Final, and already some upsets moving into this. Both of our Chinese players were number 1 and 2 as we went into the knockout stage, but after the semi-finals, it is USA and Hungary that survived, and it's a rogue mirror. Unfortunately, we're not going to see the one warrior player that made it through into our top 4, but the rogue mirror is going to prevail, and this is actually going to provide with some interesting possibilities heading into this one. Both of the decks that both of these players have brought have only differed by one card. It's a Sea Giant versus an Eviscerate.
Yeah, Terrence going with the Eviscerate, and Exigo going with the Sea Giant. Sea Giant providing a little bit more utility in the mirror and against Mage, obviously, whereas the Eviscerate for Terrence just allows him to be a little bit more aggressive and also has a bit of utility as removal. It's really hard for me, personally, not to favor Terrence in this situation. He's a really big name player, former teammate of mine, and I just think he is very, very solid fundamental play. And
we actually had the pleasure of commentating him on day number 1, and I was extraordinarily impressed by how he was able to navigate almost every turn. I didn't really spot too many mistakes from him. It feels like he's really on the ball after having a bit of time off, like you were talking about in the last broadcast that we had. He really did sort of fall off the map just a little bit, but before that he was dominating and took the time off to recharge, and it feels like he has certainly got a big full battery heading into today's final. So Terrence certainly the man to watch out for here, but Exigo has been surprising. I do want to talk about the fact that we had the first versus 4th, which was in fact Terrence in that 4th place, as you can see on the standings here as we headed into the knockout stage. So he was able to knock down as before in that rogue mirror like we were talking about, and then Exigo versus Reconnect was an insane series. If you guys were watching the semi-final, it was a 2-1 victory. Reconnect did take the first game, and then there were some pretty creative lethals that came out of Exigo in order to get him over the line.
Yeah, just talking to Dr. J, Exigo managing to go bomb into Blink Box, and the Blink Box giving him a Mortar Strike, the bomb putting him in range so that the Mortar Strike was activated for 6 damage to do 32 from hand with a 14-14 everyone on board and show-stepping Leroy twice. I don't think Reconnect was expecting 32 damage to come in 1 turn from the Rogue, but that's just the kind of things that Rogue will allow that.
Yeah, you can barely ever expect that, as we're going to be introducing both of our players, Exigo from Hungary and TerrenceM from the USA. Terrence certainly being the man to beat, but Exigo, after going through that marathon of a series, is well and truly prepared to get into some shenanigans here that can certainly come out in this particular matchup. Of course, Rogue Mirrors, it's not necessarily a Rogue Mirror, it's more like the random cards that you get mirror.
An evil miscreant mirror, I think,
would
be the best way to describe it. But yeah, if you're Exigo, you have to be feeling good after that last set. So, you know, moving into this game, he is going to be thinking that he has every chance to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's actually really interesting thinking about the mental implications of a series like that, because either you can be really mentally fatigued, or you can use that as fuel to get you into this series, because that was a marathon run, but maybe now he's warmed up to get into this series against TerrenceM, and TerrenceM taking a little bit of time off after being the first series off the gate. So
yeah, I think almost when you steal a series like Exigo did that last set he played against a Bomb Warrior, which traditionally the Bomb Warrior you would give the slight edge to, you have to be feeling that like this is your day and things are just going to happen for you.
Yep. Well, you can see, sitting back in his chair, getting ready to get into the first game of the series of the grand final here of Hearthstone WCG 2019 here in beautiful Xi'an. We actually had a chance to get out and have a look around. Xi'an is a beautiful city. If you find yourself in China ever, guys, make sure that you come on down to Xi'an because it is beautiful. I was here 10 years ago. It has gotten better since then. Might have been the fact that I don't have the greatest memory. So
Maybe you're a bit more sober the second round down.
yeah, potentially. As Exigo just gathering himself here. You can see there's some concern on his face, looking into his eyes, wanting to make sure that he is in exactly the right mindset here to take on our US representative on your screen right now, TerrenceM. Certainly has been a big name in the past and wanting to put his name on that map yet again. We are loading in to game number 1. We'll check out these mulligans, see who's got the best chance starting out. And you can see Exigo picks himself up the coin and an evil miscreant.
Yep, a Shadow Step and an Evil Cable Rat to boot, so pretty solid start for Exigo. Terrence probably just going to be eyeing off that Evil Cable Rat and throwing the other two cards away.
Yeah, Ziliax and Togwaggle in hand at turn 1. Not exactly what you want to be keeping. Even I could have worked that one out. As
yeah, both players just going to take their time.
Yeah,
Terrence
taking
keeping
a
the
lot of
Ziliax.
What do you think about keeping the Ziliax here? It's an interesting decision.
I personally am not a huge fan of it, but it does line up very, very well against almost all of Rogue's turn 2, 3 to 4 players. So, you know, SI7, Blink Fox, Henchclimb Burglar, it trades very, very favorably, often picking up 2 for 1. So,
well, we'll see whether he's going to be able to make use of it here. Of course, not going to be able to do so early, as cards are thrown away. Only Evil Miscreant is kept. I thought maybe the Shadow Step might stay in hand, given the fact that the Lackey generation would be gigantic, but does get himself an Edwin Van Cleef off the first draw, and I'd say that Exigo, after having a look at these mulligans, is certainly favored heading into this game. My humble opinion.
Whenever you can go coin Miscreant, it feels extremely good.
Well, Cable Rat does come down for the turn 2 play. Does have a couple of them here, but decides to dagger instead.
Going face as well. Kind of interesting to me.
Oh. Response might just be a dagger here. We'll see whether the coin Evil Miscreant does come out.
Yeah, I mean, when you see your opponent dagger face like that, you're expecting them to re-dagger the following turn, so I'd expect to see coin Miscreant here.
Let's come in, have a look at what Lackeys actually do eventuate from this one. Kobold always feels good to see.
Yep, two of the better ones for sure.
And a big board is something that Exigo is keen on. If you remember back to what we were talking about as far as the differences between the primary decks of these two players, it's a Sea Giant versus the Eviscerate that you can see in the hand of TerrenceM. So getting a wide board will be helping out Exigo if he does ever see that Sea Giant come down.
Exigo most likely just going to go with the Faceless Lackey and a dagger to clear off this Evil Cable Rat. A little bit of a positioning mistake here. You want to have the Faceless Lackey to the left of the Miscreant in case you spawn Die with Alpha. Potentially could have missed out on 1 damage there, but isn't punished.
Yeah, not going to be punished for it this time around. Keeping as much health on board as possible, using his face to take down Cable Rat. Understandable stuff here as Terrence still finds himself without very much tempo and just throws down a Spirit of the Shark, looking for a swing turn coming up at 5 mana.
Yeah, just about the worst tempo play the Rogue can make, but obviously trying to set up a more powerful turn the following turn.
Well, we're going to see exactly the mirrored turn here as a Spirit of the Shark of his own comes down the side of Exigo.
And this is where Terrence is going to look to swing things here. Cable Rat, a decent start, providing 2 Lackeys, and they're obviously going to provide even more value because he has the Shark on board.
A hell of a lot of Lackeys available here. Does have clear options.
Good sequencing here. Just start with the random card generator first.
Oh, there he is, Nat.
Lackey.
Natty coming down.
Yeah, Nat
potential extra cards, like it.
Yeah, not too bad.
Is this guy? Okay, Kobold Lackey comes in here for 4 damage.
Yeah, super good here.
Big value. It's a really wide board coming out here from Terrence, and no on-board way to deal with the Spirit of the Shark, but we can see from hand certainly quite a few options if he wants to deal with it.
Yeah, so absolutely, that is the highest priority target for Exigo right now. He wants to get that Shark off the board.
Well, Backstab's going to activate the combo. SI Agent could have dealt with it, but Kobold Lackey is going to come down deal with it just to make sure that Edwin Van Cleef is going to be available as well.
Yeah, and with both players only running one copy of Sap, the chances of this Edwin doing a lot of work are quite high for exigo.
Yeah. This feels so swingy already. I mean, huge board gets transferred into a huge board over the other side. It's who has the answers.
Extremely back and forth.
That's what's going to be the question here. Start with the backstab.
Yes, Terrence has a few options available to him to deal with this here.
Well, you can see Eviscerate now activated.
Yeah,
Kobold Lackey in hand.
Yeah, Eviscerate Kobold Lackey is probably what he's looking at right now, just to clear off this Edwin.
Yeah, a couple of trades as well is going to leave a lot of resources still on the board here for exigo.
Unfortunately, it's not the ideal turn for Terrence. It's not mana efficient, and he's not using his most expensive cards in hand. But I don't think he has much of a choice here.
He is thinking about it.
Also, exigo here, developing the Edwin meant that he had two really valuable targets on board in the Shark and the Edwin. So forcing Terrence to have the answer to both of those, it's extremely unlikely Terrence is able to do that. So we're going to see a really strong turn from exigo here as a result.
Yeah. No more Shark available here, so that Edwin's not as gigantic as it otherwise would have been. And now, Spirit of the Shark on the board. Certainly a whole lot more options here for exigo to throw in. 6 mana, I mean, it's not looking like the most straightforward turn.
Yeah, it is unfortunately a tiny bit awkward here for exigo. Double SI7 Agent is the most, I guess, tempo-orientated play to him now, but it makes his following turns extremely awkward. So,
and also, I mean, what are you going to utilize? I mean, the 4 damage comes out from the SI7, and you can take Edwin down to 3 health. Like,
yeah, or clear the Nat Pagel.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, preemptively damaging the Edwin is maybe the play I would favor a little bit right now, but we'll see what he goes with. Yeah, he is wanting to put that damage on the Edwin, just to make sure that he is able to clear it next turn.
A couple of cuts, and that is going to just be thinning the board as much as possible there, as the lackeys are going to trade into one another. Now Terrence is bleeding cards, but they're even as far as the draw is concerned. Nat's still on board, but hasn't gone fishing too well here today.
Yeah, Nat needs to buy himself a new fishing rod, I think.
Yeah, got to buff him. Want to get them howdies in there.
Unity.
Howdy.
Perfection.
Well, that's that Ziliax value that you were talking about, and
yeah, keeping the Divine Shield intact, pretty valuable for Terrence here.
yeah, and being able to get rid of that high-value Spirit of the Shark. We can see another one in hand here, but does need to come down before anything can happen.
Yeah, it makes
the stabilization's actually pretty huge here.
Yeah, this is a huge pickup for exigo. Being able to dagger, clear this, it looks like, okay, interesting.
Vendetta going to come out first. That clears out Edwin. Dagger, like you were talking about, comes in, but isn't going to be able to...
Yeah, this Celiac's doing a lot of work right now. Trading both these SI7s in, oh sorry, one of them, my mistake, still feels really awkward.
And also using your face at 16 health. I mean, having a 13 health total against a rogue feels incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, the threat of Leroy is obviously there. Exactly.
I mean, you were explaining exactly what happened in the last series. I mean, exigo did 32 damage in one turn without too many cards in hand as well. So we haven't seen too much of the random stuff. I mean, Blink Foxes haven't been coming down.
Yeah,
the
no
Henchclan
Blink
Burglars
Fox, no
haven't
Henchclan.
been in there. So
He doesn't feel too bad about taking this damage right now because he does have the Shark Life Drinker follow-up, but yeah, it would create a dangerous window that Terrence could kill him in.
And this is exactly what exigo is asking himself right now. Can I afford to go down to 13 health? And he says yes. Going to be trading in one of their SIs instead of both of them, just to try and keep some board presence here. But Ziliax, like you were talking about, was kept by TerrenceM and trades very nicely with exigo, holding it for the right time. 8 mana now in the hand. Life Drinker picked up. Sap already there. And can certainly allow him to add a lot of swing to these turns.
So it looks like, yep, Terrence... Let's see. Yep, okay. So he wants to try and set up a kill with the Shark Life Drinker the following turn. I'm a little bit surprised the Shark didn't come down this turn.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that as well, because he's floating a mana here, and he does have the opportunity to get a double battle cry out from the SI7 agent.
Unity. Precision.
Exigo breathing a sigh of relief that Terrence didn't have the Leroy Shai set.
Yeah.
Couldn't play that Ziliax fast enough.
And also a little bit upset, though. Would have really liked to be on 9 mana to get that Waggle pick out.
Yep.
Fortunately, isn't able to. It's going to be fine, though. Sets himself up.
That is a
1-2 dagger.
very nice draw from Terrence. Almost out of
wow.
gas. 4 Lackeys coming to the hand right now. It's going to give him a lot of refill. Double Anthropolanky as well entering Terrence's hand.
Oh my god. That is a he just went from like 2 cards in his hand to almost
insane.
a full one. Now he has to be asking the questions, actually, can I afford this?
Yeah, I really like the play of using the Witcher Lucky this turn. He's going to be able to play the Ether Lucky's next turn regardless, so just making the best tempo play available to him now.
Berserker ain't bad.
Yeah, 2-7 is quite hard to remove.
All right, holds those Ethereal Lackeys like you were talking about, but not a lot of ways to deal with the Spirit of the Shark, considering the stealth that it still has available to it. We're going to see a lot of spells being drawn. 13 on the health bar with Eviscerates available. A lot of different face damage options in the spell department from these Ethereal Lackeys. Spirit of the Shark is going to come in here. Life Drinker might be the play just to make sure that he can get himself back to 19 or 18. Feeling a little bit more comfortable here in this matchup.
Yeah, I think if you're Exigo at this point, after that play from Terrence, you might be thinking about trying to set up a 2 or 3 turn lethal this Wagles pick, this Leroy. You know, kind of hope that you get a favorable bounce with the pick on the Leroy and try and push 16 from hand and maybe find some more damage in the form of Shadow Step or a Lucky.
Head crack. It is face damage.
Yeah, the new art of head crack on display here.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Scheme, probably not what we're going to be picking, is another head crack and a Wanted. Wanted could be the choice.
Yeah, I think Wanted is probably the most flexible card in this situation.
Definitely not Scheme. I'm not wanting to go with that one. He does pick up the Wanted, as we were talking about.
And the second Ether Lucky coming down now. Just a lot of gas for Terrence. The Cold Blood looks very nice.
Cold Blood looks so good.
Darling Escape if you wanted to do it all again, but unfortunately you don't want to sacrifice all that tempo. I think we'll most likely see unidentified contract here.
Well, see what he decides to go with. Not exactly anything that feels super great. Daring Escape is going to be the idea, just to see whether he can put some of these Lackeys back in hand, things like that. There's our Life Drinker for the 12 health swing.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Shark Life Drinker is just absurd.
Yep, and he's going to transform that 2-7 into a 5-4 pretty comfortably. And Spirit of the Shark comes in with his own damage.
Yeah, he's getting in there.
Down to 7, we're representing well and truly lethal on board here, but is there going to be any response? I mean, 30 health is just so difficult with 0 damage being represented on the board and only 1 damage from the dagger coming in here. I mean, it's not like there's a 14-14 Edwin on board or anything like that to try and set up for any sort of crazy lethal shenanigans. There is a sap in hand to try and deal with at least something that's going to be there, but I think this might be the concede play.
Yeah.
And it is going to be TerrenceM going up 1-0 in the grand final of the WCG 2019 Xi'an Hearthstone.
Yeah, really interesting decision from Terrence just the previous turn. Choosing to go face with the Spirit of the Shark as opposed to... oh no, sorry, the Exigo's Shark had stealth, didn't it?
It did.
I think it saw stealth. Okay, my mistake.
So not going to be able to get anything done there. I think that Terrence played that out really cleanly. Showed us exactly why that Ziliax was kept from the opening mulligan. Of course, keeping a 5 mana as a rogue feels real weird, but he made it work.
Yeah, he created really a lot of tension on the board, and unfortunately, Exigo kind of fell behind after that, and yeah, Terrence played with snowball.
Yep. Really nicely done here from TerrenceM. Going to be moving into a game number 2, though, and anything can happen in this particular matchup. Of course, both of these players not going to be switching, most likely, to any secondary or tertiary decks.
Yeah, both players, secondary and tertiary decks, taking for Mage, taking for Warrior, so staying with the primary decks, it seems.
Yep. The mirror is going to be absolutely that. Only 1 card different between these 2 guys' primary decks. Unless any shenanigans comes out, but I highly doubt it. Edgeclimb Burglar in hand feels pretty good here, as the coin is picked up from Exigo yet again.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to help him last time around, though, and there's another Ziliax in the opening hand here of TerrenceM, but it's feeling a bit clunky. See what he, whether he throws back both of the others. And it's going to be Blink Fox Keep.
Blink Fox Keep, really good. One of the best cards to have in the mulligan in this matchup. And yeah, Ziliax kept it last game and it worked well, so why not keep it again?
Yeah, absolutely. Picks up another Blink Fox for his trouble as well. As that Eviscerate. It is the one unique factor of TerrenceM's deck versus Exigo's.
Tiny bit surprised Exigo threw away the Hinge-Climb Burger in this matchup, since it's one of the only card, I guess, that turns on your Vendettas, so
yeah,
it can be pretty valuable in this matchup, but yeah, maybe without the Vendetta in hand, he thought he wanted to throw it away and have a faster start.
Well, Blink Fox comes in here pretty comfortably. That's a Myra's.
Stable and Element. Yeah, not a pretty solid pickup with Terrence is trying to close out the game.
And I guess, well, okay. See whether it actually does ever get used. First time I've actually, we've seen a Novice Engineer in the games that we've cast so far in any of the Rogue matches. Almost thought it was a myth.
It kind of found his way into the decks, the Rogue decks, a couple months ago. Just really, really strong with Spirit of the Shark. Gives the Rogue a lot of gas and lets it close games out against Warrior, for example.
Well, trading back and forth. Foxy time between both of these players. And the backstab going to be a very comfortable clear here.
Yeah, backstab
Terrence.
obviously super strong in this matchup along with Dagger, allowing me to clear a plethora of 3 health minions.
Pretty sure that was identical plays made by both players.
Yeah.
As Spirit of the Shark could bring out a lot of dudes on turn 6 or turn 5, given the coin.
Yeah, interesting turn from Exigo here. You can kind of have a weak turn here with Spirit of the Shark and follow up with Novice and Defias. You can try and make a temper play now and just develop the Life Drinker, or if he really feels threatened, he can remove the Blink Fox with Vendetta.
Yeah, I don't think we'd see the Vendetta play this early on, and it is going to be the play you were talking about. Spirit of the Shark is going to be thrown in there just to hope for a bigger turn next time around. Ziliak's going to come down just to provide a taunt with Lifesteal and a Divine Shield.
Yeah, I really like this from Terrence.
Tempo Ziliak.
I think developing the Zilexia was really good.
Well, Ziliax of his own is picked up here by Exigo, as he's able to cycle through this deck pretty effectively, and man, SI7 Agent gets so much value right here.
Yeah, super strong. Clearing the shield and then obviously clearing the final 2 health from the Ziliax. That's about the ideal draw, I think, from his Novice.
I would say so.
Fortunately, not as much Shark Bait, I think, as Exigo would have liked. Which it was forced by Terrence developing the Ziliax, had to kind of make a defensive play. So, yeah, heads up play from Terrence, I think.
Very easy clear now on that Spirit of the Shark like you're talking about. See whether the Waggle pick is decided to be going for here. What's the best option here that Terrence has available to him?
Yeah, I think Waggle pick and Eviscerate is the play that I'm looking at right now. Waggle pick just, it's kind of hard to find time to get it down sometimes, and it can be a little bit awkward when you don't want to bounce something and you lose a bit of tempo, and that's not ideal, but Terrence offering the Spectral Colors. Card you don't see too often.
Yeah. He's going to throw it in though. It's going to be his decision. Eviscerate comes down. And we're going to be able to have a full clear, leaving the 3-3. We've got some Lifesteal on top of it available for our American player.
Miscreant picked up, possibly enabling a future Togwaggle from Exigo right now, so we might see the Miscreant come down here and then the following turn a 1-drop Lackey and the Togwaggle. The other play available to him is obviously Ziliax on this Blink Fox, which looks like a pretty elementary play.
Yeah.
So many.
Pretty comfortable. Going to be floating a mana. Not going to be able to get any lackeys for the turn 7 High Sparrow play. So I think that's what he's thinking about here is, can I get out a High Sparrow on the next turn? Or can I afford to just heal myself back up and play this one a little bit more slowly?
Yeah, I think I'm just leaning towards Ziliax play a tiny little bit. But no, it looks like he's going to go for the Miscreant, and I think it looks like he touched Life Drinker.
Yeah, Fire's going to come out here as well.
Okay.
Get wide on this board. Play out some of these lackeys as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's been super rewarded for this play. Picking up the Faceless Lackey to go alongside the Defias Ringleader. Rogue has a really hard time dealing with wide boards, and yeah, this play is very, very nice. Rogue to go.
Yeah, very, very wide. So all of a sudden, all the pressure available as the Evil Miscreant does come into the hand of Terrence. Spirit of the Shark there as well. Perfect timing on the mana. Not going to be able to activate any of these lackeys. This is still feeling like preparation time. However, he now has way more gas in his hand than he had before. TerrenceM was the one that was running low on options here.
Exigo, interesting decision last turn, chose not to hold a Lackey to have the guaranteed Togwaggle available to him. Instead, gambling that Terrence wouldn't be able to clear both the Lackeys.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's paying dividends right now.
Yeah, Wondrous Wand, of course, is going to be the option here.
Yeah, the premium choice.
Yeah. Scary time.
So yeah, interesting decision here. He has the choice of respecting the Miscreant here. Any potential of it coming back to the hand and then being developed the following turn is especially scary since Shark is on the board. But I think I'm fine with that.
Snip Snap's going to be the pickup here. Not exactly what Terrence was looking for, but the pressure is on. Exigo having complete control of this board at this point in time. I think at first, curious pickup. His Waggle pick is going to come down as well, and we're just looking to go lethal. And I really like this. Terrence pivots to I just want to hit you in the face and I don't care about your board at the drop of a hat, man. Like on a dime, this guy just says, all right, well, I'm not playing for board anymore. We are done. I've got some options to go right into your face, and I'm going to do it right now. And
yeah,
you can
really,
see 12 health already on the board.
Really good understanding of just the state of the game from Terrence there. Yeah, seeing that toggle come down, you have to realize, okay, I'm falling a bit behind on the card generation game here.
This is pretty good. Snip snap into the Ziliax.
Yeah, super nice.
Precision.
Being able to heal and develop a taunt and clear at the same time.
And keep the Divine Shield on top of that by running it into the Spirit of the Shark here.
Yeah, the only real play Terrence has available to him is Sap, which is in the main list, but Exigo unaware that the Ethereal Lackeys are there, so maybe we'll see a Walker Plank or something like that come down.
Yeah, well, we'll need to be searching through the deck for those. Unfortunately, not going to be able to have multiple runs of it. Oh, okay. It is going to be the less value.
Yeah, chooses to preserve his board there. So I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Keeping a live board is good.
And he's the one with the Sea Giant as well. So
yeah, exactly.
Not playing around an opponent's one, playing towards his own. And like you were talking about, the Ethereal Lackey does come in here. Oh, not exactly the greatest of choices. I mean, Vendetta is there, but unfortunately, the Snip Snap provided the Ziliax with just enough health to get out of range of that one.
Yeah, I mean, he has the Goblin Lackey available to him, so he can pair the Goblin Lackey with the Vendetta, rush in his Ethereal Lackey, which he has on board to clear it, but okay, he goes with the cheap shot, a little bit more of a flexible card here, and I don't mind this decision since Exigo's board is obviously so right now, so being able to use this cheap shot in a more versatile way is going to be a lot more effective for Terrence here.
Where does the one damage come from? It is going to be the next cheap shot. Slightly overdoes it. It's going to be okay. 2 mana left. And
yeah, I'm not quite sure what Terrence is going to do with the rest of this turn here.
Yeah, feeling a little bit awkward. Another cheap shot into something doesn't feel great.
Okay, maybe would have liked to see this Ethereal Lackey come down here before deciding to go with the cheap shots, but I don't think it's a big deal.
Maybe he was thinking to go multiple different options here as cheap shot comes down again. And just trying to thin this board, but I feel like Terrence made a gamble last turn when he threw everything into face, and then when the lifesteal came down for that extra 5 health, it was well and truly out of range of any of the options that he did have available to him. So
yeah, this is something we see time and time again in Rogue Mirrors. Just players honestly not having enough time to really think about the turn that they want to have, what they should be thinking about that their opponent can represent the following turn. And I think Terrence, yeah, maybe felt the pressure there.
Yep, so 12 damage from board. The Waggle pick there. And Leroy, that is going to mean lethal available for Exigo. And we are going to even out the series, so this grand final is going the distance. It's a best of 3, ladies and gentlemen. So the next game will be for all of the remaining marbles. And Exigo, he's done this before. It was the reverse sweep in the semi-final. That's what got him here. And that was a more difficult game than this one was. This was him putting enough pressure onto Terrence, and Terrence honestly cracking. The answers being well and truly available for our Hungarian player.
Yeah, I think the turn that was extremely impressive from Exigo was just the turn that he decided to go 5-string leader, miscreant. Miscreant giving him the faces like he allowed him to go super wide, and yeah, that just forced Terrence into a corner. He really only had one option from that point, and that was to go face, and Exigo able to shut that down completely with the Simsap Ziliax.
Yep. And also that gamble that he made as well, like opting in for throwing out both of his lackeys at that point in time, getting the Togwaggle after the board was extra wide, just understanding that we'd had a lot of swingy turns. We'd had a lot of turns where a lot of clear had been utilized, and of course no fan of knives in either of these decks or anything like that, so the 1/1s are a little bit more sticky than otherwise would have been thought in the Rogue matchup. See this one more time. Exigo, he's the man of the coins.
Yeah,
he is certainly the banker.
Just
so far
very,
today.
very impressive.
Yep. That is it's gameplay right there.
Hench Clan Burglar and Vendetta showing up in his mulligan, keeps those as a pair. I like that a lot. And then Evil K-Barat just helping to round out his curve nicely. Terrence on the other side of things. Shadow Step Miscreant, I like keeping both those together.
And actually, the fact that he does have both of those means that this is probably the most impressive of a start that we've seen here. No Ziliax this time around for Terrence, but does certainly have a few more options. Another Blink Box in hand as well, so he can start on the same turn 3. Not actually thinking about the swing.
Yeah, Terrence is really favoured that just swinging face with dagger on 2. Not something that I'm a huge fan of. I don't really value the damage as much as just the utility of having the dagger available later on.
Yeah. You're more of a, if I'm going to dagger up the turn afterwards, then you swing.
Exactly.
Terrence, though, is going to play the mind game. And swing space anyway, despite
Certainly.
having a pretty comfortable turn 3 play there in the Blink Fox.
Yeah, it certainly makes extra think twice of what Terrence has in store for the following turns.
Yeah, just a dagger, no cable wrap coming out here. No Novice Engineer wanting to save that for Spirit of the Shark turns. The extra value. Blink Fox will come in.
Yeah.
It's a lot of backstabs.
Without these backstabs in hand, Terrence can consider shadow stepping the Blink Fox here to have a guaranteed mid-screen activated the following turn, but I think that's probably 2 defensive plays in one way.
Well, Hench Clan going to be coming down here. Mind Control, Cloning Device, and Mass Hysteria. They're pretending to be a priest for the moment.
Yeah, really, really interesting options here. I do like the Hysteria just because it gives Rogue access to something they normally do not have. So, like, if you're Terrence, you're not really playing around AoE, so
Yeah.
the Hysteria giving extra that option.
Well, backstab and dagger should clear this, but wanting to preserve the life total. SI Agent going to come down.
Yeah, I don't think Terrence is in too much of a rush to get this mid-screen out, so yeah, I mean, taking 4 is a big deal in this matchup, especially with such limited healing available outside of like a really big Shark, Life Drinker, or a big Ziliax. So yeah, I like preserving the life total.
Now, considering whether or not he wants to swing face, and this is Terrence, so of course he does.
Yep, and I mean, just looking at his hand, it's probably going to be some form of backstab mid-screen re-dagger, so yeah, I like this a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really interesting options here. I think a Mega Cellular is the pretty clear-cut choice here. You don't really want to be giving your opponent mana crystals as well, so Biology Project not the choice, and yeah, Mega Cellular is just a really powerful card.
Yep.
Being 1 mana as well makes it a lot more flexible.
And also with the amount of battle cries that are in this deck as well, 1/1 copies of cards from your deck is not necessarily what you want to be getting either. So the cloning gallery is going to be not the option this time around. Ethereal Lackey coming in here after that miscreant play like you were talking about, but instead of redaggering, it is going to be throwing lackeys all around and providing a larger board here for Terrence.
Yeah, and the Warlock Spirit he picked up, each time a minion, one of your friendly minions dies, it'll give +1/+1 to a minion in your hand, and Terrence picking up that first buff on the Leroy, so perhaps this Leroy might find itself with a few more buffs, and all of a sudden he has a bit of reach that Exigo will not be expecting.
And also, with Wagglepick still waiting and that Shadow Step sitting in hand, there could be a gigantic turn for this buffed up Leroy, so I see exactly where you're going. Just a lot of face damage waiting in the hand of Terrence here, and we know that that's exactly what he loves to do.
Yep.
Mass Hysteria going to be thrown down as quickly as possible here, as it's not going to get too much value. And in fact, that's going to be a very, very big Life Drinker and Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, super. This Spirit is putting in a lot of work for Terrence. Just also really interesting last turn, Terrence trading off the right amount of minions just to respect Exigo Xi'an. He was 1 mana off being able to play that turn.
Well, 5/5 Life Drinker was not what Exigo wanted to see here.
Yeah, really nice health total for that Life Drinker to be at, being out of Eviscerate dagger range and obviously Vendetta dagger range from Exigo.
Oh, Cable Wrap. Rush Boy, probably not what we really want to be seeing here, but we'll give the option, I guess. Does have the dagger, so doesn't really need to worry here.
Yeah, he could have...
And can now rush the SI7.
Yeah, he could have maybe used his face to clear the Life Drinker instead and keep the SI alive, but both players seeming to really value their life totals this final game.
Well, Spirit of the Shark is not the waggle pick that Terrence wanted to see.
Yeah, the Spirit of Shark is a dead draw here. Yeah, a real blank for Terrence.
However, I mean, if it was anything else other than a waggle pick, what are we really going to be throwing down here? So it might be able to just prepare the Spirit of the Shark this time around, but does give the Rogue an extra turn to prepare even more threats.
Really interesting from Terrence there. It looked like he was thinking about daggering face, especially after last game. I really think I would value clearing the Lackey here, just because Togwag would come down the following turn. So I would be really surprised if he doesn't clear the Lackey here. But no,
This guy loves daggering face, man.
He's on a mission. I mean, it's consistent. I love it.
How are you supposed to kill your opponent if you kill the things around him instead of stabbing him in the face.
This is what I've been doing wrong the whole time.
That's why you're a warrior player, all right? And let the rogue players play, okay?
All right, my mistake, my mistake. I usually just let my opponent kill themselves and get the warrior.
Exactly. Exactly. You wait for them to concede because the game's gone for too long.
I'm a real masochist.
Well, Novice Engineer is going to get that value that we were talking about prior, and that's the waggle pick that Terrence has been looking for, but unfortunately not in his hand. It's in Exigo's. Mega Assembly going to come in before 10.
Yeah, that safeguard is also very, very nice pickup.
Defensive options that he was looking for.
And you would have to be smelling something if you're Exigo. That dagger face was just the most questionable thing I think I've seen in a while. So if you're Exigo, you are thinking about, oh man, okay, Terrence has a lot of reach in hand.
Well, 20 on the board. How much is he representing at this point? I mean, I think that might be an 8-4.
It's an 8-4 Leroy, yeah. So he has 19 right now with this. I mean, he can't fit the Eviscerate in just this yet, but on turn 10, 19, including the dagger swing.
Well, that means that he's just trying to get him down low enough. Pogo Hopper in the hand here. Shadow Step available as well. We might just transfer into Pogo Rogue.
And I guess something interesting to touch on this game is Terrence was offered a preparation. Oh, no, sorry, that was last game. My mistake.
Yeah, no. So
yeah,
that was for the cheap shots.
Yeah,
that, the turn that didn't quite work. Remember, this is the deciding game in the grand final of WCG 2019 Hearthstone. It all comes down to this.
Kind of surprised Terrence didn't want to develop the Shark there as well. I mean, because Xi'an is obviously available to Exigo if he wants it at this point, so...
At this rate, we can see preparing for lethal for next turn.
Yeah, just giving Terrence more options available with his mana the following turn. So, he was going to be floating mana this turn, so he figured I might as well use the Eviscerate this turn and spend my mana, just so they have more options available the following turn.
The extra 6 health is really going to make Terrence think twice here. You can see head in hands on your screen. Sea Giant comes down as well. This is what happens. Terrence gets to a certain turn, decides I'm going to try and find lethal over the next couple. And you can see Exigo does have the responses here.
Cable had a nice pickup, but all of a sudden Terrence thinking about maybe a possible lethal from Exigo the other way.
Yeah.
11 on board and he's only at 22, so Leroy Step does it.
Are we thinking about sapping Mr. Sea Giant here?
I think you have to sap the Sea Giant, absolutely. Starting with the Face Lucky, I think, would be preferable, but...
Gonna get that one out of the way by the looks of things. Back into the hand.
Yeah, just a small thing, but obviously Sorcerer's Apprentice is available to Terrence off this Face Lucky, so it would have reduced the cost of the sap, and then he could have been in the Wishy Lucky as well.
Yeah. Well, there's the Shadow Step. Leroy's been in hand for a long time here for Exigo. Not quite with the amount of reach that we were talking about, but see whether that waggle pick gets developed.
Yeah, it's a real fine line at the moment with these players, just trying to not fall behind a board, but also be able to push damage face and try and threaten lethal. And that's what Exigo is tossing and turning with right now. He wants to develop this waggles pick and also develop board and try and threaten lethal, but at the same time he doesn't want to give Terrence too much tempo and have the exact same thing done to him the other way.
Well, Life Drinker comes down once again. There's another 6 health. This particular Life Drinker has got himself a 24 health swing.
Yeah, just a really good example of
Not bad.
utility, Shadow Step, and Shark given this matchup.
Yeah. Well, that Sea Giant could once again head down onto the board. SI Agent could even join it.
Yeah, just probably tossing up whether or not he wants to develop 2 minions or use the dagger to clear.
This guy's toast.
I was thinking about having 2 cards as well as Blink Box with the Spirit of the Shark. Could be that availability, but understands that he barely needs any more cards in his hand because he's representing lethal right now, as we can see. It's not a heck of a lot that Terrence can do.
It's not looking amazing for Terrence here. Okay, yeah, starting with the Shadow Step. So foregoing the Leroy lethal game plan here, and yeah, the Life Drink is obviously putting it into that game plan. So Terrence back to trying to fight for board. There's like exactly probably what he was looking for here. Walk the plank, assassinate, any way to deal with the Sea Giant, and assassinate off it to Terrence.
Yeah, that's going to be the pickup. Next choice.
Raiding Party, so Terrence can tutor a Henge Clan and Waggles pick. So Raining Party, a pretty interesting pick here, I think.
Interesting
And it
option.
fits with the... okay, Terrence going for the Deadly. It would fit in with the Assassinate quite nicely, but perhaps Terrence feels he's under too much pressure right now, and instead the Deadly lets him clear off one of these 3 drops.
Does have to do it with his face though, and we can see this Leroy lurking in the hand of Exigo. There's 10 damage just straight out of hand.
Okay, so 4 drop coming up here for Terrence. Not a terrible one, and a 6 drop for the Sharks.
Looks like this is going to be it though, because there is 6 damage on board, and Leroy Jenkins plus a Waggle pick will make that lethal in from Exigo, and he will be our WCG 2019 champion. Terrence, he tried to do it. He almost got there, but it feels like these reverse sweeps are exactly where our Hungarian player lives.
Look at the emotion coming out of Exigo. You'd love to see that.
And another perfect lethal to finish off a series from this guy. It's not quite as impressive as taking him down from 32 health, but still impressive, especially against Terrence, who was on such a tear in this tournament.
Yeah, Terrence, a really, really solid player. Well-respected player. Like, any player worth his salt will know who Terrence is. And so, yeah, Exigo taking down Terrence, no mean feat.
Absolutely. And pulls out the Hungarian flag. He's going to walk out onto this WCG main stage. Congratulations to Exigo. Really nicely done. Remember, this guy was 3rd coming out of our round robin. Was able to fight back against both of our Chinese players. Of course, Reconnect was who was his opponent. And man, just really impressive stuff here from Exigo. Some real clutch Hearthstone played on the final day of WCG Hearthstone.
Yeah, I think I was really, really impressed with just his decisions of when to stop, fighting for board too much, and put the pressure on Terrence and force some inefficient plays out of Terrence. Also, I think that, again, I go back to it, but that turn in game 2 where he went Riot and had the Togwaggle follow-up, really impressive.
Yeah, really nicely done. We've changed. We look slightly different now, as you can see on our monitors, but don't worry, at least we sound the same, even if our voices aren't necessarily moving the same. There we go. There we go. We've transformed. We spent some time as the Chinese casters for a little while there, but don't worry, we found our way back. So congratulations to Exigo. Our Hungarian player was able to take it across the line. This was the first time that we've actually commentated Exigo's play here at this particular tournament, but on the other stages and with Rapid and Dr. J, they were certainly showing some sweet plays. So
yeah,
I'm actually going to go back. I didn't have an opportunity to watch that semifinal, but Exigo's semifinal was certainly one for the history books. So really excited to go back and watch that one and really celebrating his victory today, because he was put to the test and was able to overcome all of the obstacles, even the Rogue Mirror, which can be so difficult. I do want to talk about the fact that he got coin all 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it a bit earlier, but after that previous set, you must be feeling that it's your day, and coin 3 games in a row is most certainly your day.
That's how you do it. That's how you determine whether or not it's your day. And that's also at the very beginning of every round. So he's like, all right, I got this. From word go.
I'm sweet. I'm fine. You just sit back in your chair, see that coin pop up, the animation. It's great.
See that extra card come out, and you're like, all right.
Licking your
feeling
lips.
comfortable. That being said, I mean, his gameplay was also what got him over the line. I think holding on to the Ziliax is Wondrous Wand worked out extraordinarily well for him in game number 2, being able to have that 0 mana snip snap that put the Ziliax towards the 5 health margin, towards the 5 damage margin, and with the lifesteal able to get him across the board. It was just some pretty exciting Hearthstone. It was Exigo just playing very, very well, and also being the guy that played more conservatively. He was the one playing for board the entire time. It was Terrence that was saying, look, I don't care about your board now. I'm going to play for your face, and I'm going to try and take you down. And Exigo had the answers required to stop him from being able to do that. It was really nicely done. Congratulations to Exigo. That will do it for us here at WCG Xi'an Hearthstone. Until next time, goodbye.
Global Esports Festival for a